Hey everyone, it's Coach Tegan and Coach Taylor from Full Force Gymnastics. We're here just doing a little interactive class for you guys since we're not going to be here this week. This is for our shooting stars. So we just wanted to take the time and make a little video to give you guys something to do since you won't be here this week and get some of that energy out. And that way you can practice so when you get back here you'll be ready to rock. So first, Coach Taylor's going to start us off with some stretching you can do at home.
All right, so first we're going to do our warm-up, which we normally do. We'll start off with 10 jumping jacks. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll reach up nice and tall. And we'll put our feet flat. Try to keep your legs straight and reach for the ground. If you can, try to get your hands flat. If this is too easy for you, you can always try to reach behind your legs. And then we're gonna reach up tall again and go into our straddle position. And you're gonna reach down to one leg. And you're gonna hold this probably for the count of 5. And then you can walk your hands over to the other side and hold this side for the count of 5. Then we're gonna go ahead and move into our straddle position. So you're gonna sit down in your straddle, make sure you keep your legs straight and you try to keep your toes pointed. You're gonna reach up nice and tall and you're gonna go down in the middle. And we'll hold this for a 10 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And reach up nice and tall. And remember, you're gonna drop one arm and reach over your head. Try to put your ear to your knee. Keep your legs straight and your toes pointed and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And reach up nice and tall. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Drop one arm, reach over your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to move into our pike position. Feet together, legs straight. You're going to reach up nice and tall. You're going to try to grab your ankles and pull yourself down to your knees. If you can, try to get your nose in between your legs while keeping your legs straight and your feet together. You're going to pull yourself down. You can do this for the count of 10 as well. And then you can grab your toes. Try to keep your legs locked out and pull your heels off the ground for the count of 10. And then we'll move into our split stretching. So when you're in your split, you're going to go up on your knees. You're going to stick one leg out in front of you. Make sure that leg is nice and straight. And then you're going to put your hands out and try to reach past your leg for a deeper stretch. You're going to put your nose down to your knee. You can hold this for the count of 10 or even 15. And then you're going to sit up nice and tall, put your hands on your hips, push forward. So remember, when you do this, you want to make sure that your knee is not over your ankle like this, because that will hurt your knee. You want to make sure that your foot is out a little bit and you're pushing forward, and the goal of this is to try to be in a full split from knee to knee. So if I turn to the side a little bit, you want to be in a full split like this. You want to push forward and really feel that stretch right here. You can hold this for 10 or 15, whatever you did for the other one, and then you're going to slide into your split. So you're going to put your hands down, make sure you always slide forward into your split and never backwards. You're going to slide that foot out and try to hold your split. And I would try to hold this for the count of 20. Okay? Then we're going to move on to our other side. So you can shake out your legs if you need to. And you're going to go up on your knees. And we're going to do the same thing over again. So stick out that first leg. And you're going to put your hands down, nose to your knee. You can reach your hands out in front of you for a deeper stretch. And you'll hold that for 10 or 15, whatever you choose. Hands and hips. Push forward. Remember to make sure that that knee is not over your ankle and you're really feeling the stretch in this back leg right here. You want to sit up nice and tall when you do this. Make sure you're not leaning over. Sit up nice and tall. Hold that for 10 or 15, whichever you choose. Hands down. Slide all the way out into this split. So now this is clearly my bad leg split, and I haven't stretched today, so I'm not all the way down, but you definitely want to work on getting as flat as you can in all of your splits. And then one thing that you can always do, you can always try at home just for fun, is a straddle split. You can put your hands down and try to slide your legs out as far as you can and try to get as close to the ground as you can, okay? So now Coach Tagan's going to take it over with some positions for us.
All right, so now that we're nice and warmed up, we're gonna finish our warm up off with the positions that we go over in class. So parents, this is a good time when you guys can quiz them. So we'll show you how to do the positions, and then once they learn them, you can quiz them, call them out in different orders, and that's a lot of fun for them too. So with Coach Taylor, I'll have her, we're gonna start with a straight body. So her feet are gonna be together, her arms are gonna fully extend up nice and tall. This is the position you guys would start your forward roll in. So if you were gonna do a forward roll, you'd start here, put your hands down, and do your roll. That's also how you would finish your roll too. You can turn your hands out to do to that, just like that. Parents, you can also, once they're doing this, you can say, this is called a straight body, and then make them repeat it back to you so that they learn it. So what is this called?
Straight body.
Yes. So next we're going to do a lunge. So she'll step forward, 1 foot forward, typically your favorite foot, with one leg behind. This is called a lunge. She's going to extend her arms up, have a slight bend in the front. This is the position for handstands and cartwheels. So you always start your handstand and your cartwheel like this. You also finish your handstand and cartwheel like this. So this position is very important. Next we're going to go into a squat. So she'll start down. She'll squat down to the ground with her knees tucked into her chest. Next we are going to do a straddle sit. So she will sit down, do her straddle. We just did this in warm up, but this is one of the main positions in gymnastics. So we do straddle jumps with this, and a lot of stretching with our straddles. Next we're going to do a pike. So she'll put her feet together, legs will be fully extended, nice and straight. And again, we have pike jumps as well in gymnastics, so it's important to know this. Next we're going to do a tuck. So she'll bend her knees up, hug her knees. This position is super important. There's obviously a tuck jump with your knees up in front of you. But also, when tumbling, once they get more advanced and they start throwing round off their hamstrings, back tucks, front tucks, things of that nature, doing flyaways off of bars, this is a very important position for them because most tumbling, you're in a tucked position. All right, so next we're going to do a V-sit. She'll start her tuck, put her hands behind her. She's going to extend her feet to the ceiling, so she's actually in a V. This is important because once you start doing more difficult mounts, that is part of a mount on V. The next part is a knee scale, so she'll be on her hands and knees. She's going to fully extend one leg, nice straight pointed toe, straight leg, and that is the knee scale. And then the next thing is a candlestick. So here's our little yoga mat. You want to have a soft surface for this, but she'll just lay down. She's going to put her feet in the air, hands by her side, and she's just going to lift her bottom up so her feet are towards the ceiling. If that is too difficult, you can always extend yourself up, put your hands on your hips to hold yourself up until your tummy muscles get stronger. This is also important because if you put your arms above your head, on the floor and rock back, that is called a safety roll. So anytime you fall in gymnastics, you never want to put your hands behind you. You want to be in this position with your arms extended above you to protect your head. So those are some positions you guys can work on while you're out. Coach Taylor is going to go over some things you can do with items you have around the house.
All right, so first we're going to start off and we're going to work on walking on high toes. So that's something very important throughout gymnastics, especially as your child starts to advance into the novas, supernovas, and then of course our competitive team. Our competitive girls are pretty much always on high toe. So one thing that you want to do is you can find an open area in your house or wherever you're at, outside, it doesn't matter. You're going to get in that straight body position. You're going to put your arms over your head and you're going to go up onto your tippy toes and you're going to walk on high toe. You want to be on as highest toe as possible. You also want to make sure that your arms are squeezed to your head and you're squeezing your tummy and your bottom, and you're just once again up on high toe and you're walking, and you want to try to look up nice and tall. So you can do this in lines. You can walk forward, you can walk backwards, you can also walk sideways, being up nice and tall and on high toe. Another thing that you can work on is another more advanced position called a lock. So what you do is you put one foot out in front of you, you go up onto your tippy toes, and you bring that back foot in so that the heel of your front foot is touching the front of your back foot. I know that sounded confusing, but you're gonna push up nice and tall and you're gonna squeeze, and you can try to hold this as long as you possibly can. You can also, if you have multiple kids that go here, they can kind of challenge each other and see who can hold it the longest. All right, now moving on from that, you can work on jumps. So of course we have our basic straight jump. Whenever we're jumping, one thing that kids always try to do is lean forward and jump like that. Try to encourage them to use their legs. Bend your legs, sit in a chair, and jump up out of the chair. This is super important to work on bending your legs, because this is actually the beginning of back handspring. So you want to work on reaching up nice and tall, sitting in your chair, jumping up, and keeping those legs straight. And remember, when you land, you want to freeze, because we want to stick it, and then you can always finish with your ta-da. And then of course we'll do other jumps like a tuck jump. So you're going to put your arms up, same thing, bend those legs and swing your arms down, jump up. Try to bring your knees up. Try to bring your knees up more towards your chest instead of like this, kicking your bottom. You want to bring your legs up. And then of course you can work on a straddle jump, depending on how much space you have and if that is okay with mom or dad. So with that, you're gonna bend like we did earlier, and you're gonna bring your legs apart and try to bring them back together before you land. That's really important. You don't want to land like this. You want to bring them together and land and finish. All right, now Coach Tegan's gonna take it over.
All right, so the other thing you can do while you're at home is if you have items laying around the house, like your toys or pillows or anything like that, you can put those on the floor. You can work on doing your jumps over them. So if Coach Taylor will come here, she'll start and she can do like tuck jumps over her toys. Yep. The other thing is you can go on one foot. So she can jump over with one foot. Yep. You can also go over with one foot with your knee up in the air. So like a jump like that. Yep. And feel free to alternate feet when you do that. The other thing you can do, this is more to get the heart rate up, you can do legs out and in, and see how fast you can do it. And that is it as far as things that you have at home that you can jump over. The next thing we're gonna go into is balance beam. Some people have like a portable balance beam at home, but we're going to show you how to make one. So if you if you have painter's tape at home, or even like a string that you could tape to the ground, if you're outside you could draw it in chalk, but be careful with doing stuff on the pavement because it's a hard surface. So basically what we did is, you're gonna take, all of our beams here are 4 inches wide. So you'll take about 4 inches of tape. You'll take 2 of these, you'll put one on one end, one on the other end, and then just pull the rest of the tape so it connects into a rectangle that looks like the outline of a beam. It can be as long as you want, as short as you want, just so you have the idea of the shape of a beam. So we have ours over here. So this is our beam. So things that you guys can do with the beam, obviously Coach Taylor just went over the high toe walk. So we can do high toes. And when you do that, try to stay in the outline of your balance beam. The next thing you can do is high kicks. So still on toe, but bring your leg forward. You could also do backward kicks. So you'll start with your arms out to the side and kick backwards. All this you want to try to stay in the lines of the beam. And then bunny hops. You can put your arms up and bunny hop down the beam. Perfect. You can walk sideways, sideways walks. And then you can also do grapevines. So still sideways, but you'll cross your feet front and backwards and try to stay on the beam when you do that. If you are comfortable with it, you can always do like a tuck jump or a straddle jump on the beam, or you can walk. You can start on one end, walk to the end like we do in class, and do a jump off as if you were dismounting. If you're comfortable with it and your parents are comfortable with it, you can always do forward rolls and try to land within the shape of the beam like we do in class. Just parents make sure their chin is tucked to their chest when they do their forward rolls and your head's not out, okay? The next thing we're going to talk about, Coach Taylor is going to go over some TNT outs and some handstands.
All right, so for TNT outs, this is the beginning part of a handstand and something that we definitely look for our competitive team. So you want to start in that lunge position that Coach Tagan taught us earlier. Remember, you're going to have your favorite foot in front of you. You're going to start with your arms up. You're going to have a slight bend in your leg. So for a TNT out, you want to pass through the T shape and come back to the lunge position, and you're going to touch your hands to the ground when you do that. So you're going to start here, you're going to lift that leg up, make a T shape, touch the ground, hit your T shape again, and finish. So teeing in, teeing out. So we're going to do that again. You're going to start in your lunge, lift that leg, touch the ground, lift back up, finish in that lunge. Remember to bend that front leg to keep the pressure on that front foot so that when you move up to do this on beam, you don't fall off the beam. Now the next thing is handstand. So you want to still create that motion of the TNT out as you go for your handstand. So the first thing that you can do to start is just work on kicking up one leg and remember to land on the same foot that you started on. So you'll start in that lunge position, you'll pass through your T, put your hands down, hop on your foot, put that foot back down, T out of it, and finish in your lunge. You can do that multiple times. You can make it faster. You can stay down there and hop on your foot and finish. But the main thing that you want to do is make sure you're landing on that same foot. So you don't want to go like this and switch your feet, okay? Then of course the next part is doing the actual handstand. So starting in that lunge, kicking up, touching your feet together, and finishing in that handstand. Of course, if you have someone around to help you, they can try to hold you in that. So remember, start in your lunge, kick up, touch your feet together, work on squeezing your tummy and your bottom.
Yeah, parents, you can test them, try to make them squeeze their legs tight, try to pull them apart, make sure their toes are pointed.
And then step down, finish in that lunge position. Another thing that you can do, if you have a pillow or some type of cushion or something like that, putting that on the ground and working on your handstand like that. So starting in your lunge, hands down, kicking up, finishing. Another thing, parents, if you allow them to, is putting your feet on the couch or a chair, putting your hands on the ground, feet up, getting into that handstand position from your hands all the way up to your shoulders, and then lifting your legs over your head and trying to keep a straight leg. That does something called finding vertical, helps you work on kicking all the way up. And then lastly, parents, if you allow your child to do so, you can find a wall or a door like we're using here and walk your feet up it. So hands on the ground, put your feet and you walk up the door as high as you can. And if someone's there to help you, you work on bringing your hands in as close as you can and pointing your toes. And then of course you walk back down. All right, Coach Tagan's gonna teach us some cartwheel stuff.
All right, so the other thing you can do if you have like a sturdy couch cushion or pillow, you can put these
On the floor.
and just have them start in their lunge like we taught before. So Coach Taylor's gonna come over here, and if you start in your lunge, just to get us warmed up, let's stand on this side right here, and she's gonna actually put her hands down on the cushion, so hands, and then she's just gonna jump side to side with her legs. So that can get you warmed up for the straddle position that you pass through. Again, we're talking about the straddle position we went over. So then she's gonna start right here. She's going to start in her lunge and do a full cartwheel. So you really want to try to get your feet all the way up to the ceiling, fully extended, and you'll pass through your straddle and then land, 1 foot at a time. Now when you do your cartwheel, you want to land the opposite direction from which you started. You never want to land the same direction because then it's incomplete. So we'll show you right now. So Coach Taylor's going to start in her lunge. And she's going to put her hands down, kick, and she lands in the opposite direction in her lunge. So those are things that you guys can do. Now parents, if your child is doing kind of an around the side, can you show them like if they're not kicking all the way? If they're just kicking around the side like this, what you can do is have them start in a lunge. If you just place your hand on their hip right here, they'll place their hands down. You can pull them, kind of stop them in their straddle, and then set them down. That gives them kind of more, so they can get vertical with you pulling them. That way they can feel what it's like to pass through the full straddle and everything. So those are some cartwheels. If you already have a cartwheel and you want to do a round off, you just land on 2 feet. So that's basically it for cartwheel.
And remember when you do your cartwheel to land on your opposite foot. So you land facing the opposite direction and also on the opposite foot. So you start on your favorite foot and you should end on your bad foot in your lunge, okay?
All right, well, I think that is about it. We're gonna leave you with an exercise to do, something you can do at home. So let's see, what do we want to do today?
Crunches are always a good thing to start off with. Crunches or sit-ups, especially if you have a partner. If you want to get your parents involved, your siblings involved, that's always good. You can both sit on the ground and you can interlock your feet together. Interlock your feet together, you put your hands across your chest, and of course you go back, and when you come up, make sure you bring your elbows over top of your legs and then lay back down again. This is a great exercise to do because it works on core strength, which is pretty much the #1 muscle that you need in gymnastics. Everyone needs a strong core. The next thing that we can do are push-ups. This is probably the second most important muscle in gymnastics, are your arm muscles. So you can work on push-ups. If you are a beginner at push-ups, you can always start from your knees. But when you do push-ups, you want to make sure that your back is flat. You can bring your knees up if that's helpful. You want your back flat. You don't want to be up in the air with your bottom up like so. You want your back flat. And you're just going to come down and try to touch your chest to the floor or hover above and then push back up. You don't want to put your head down and go like this. We see a lot of kids do that. You want to go all the way down, let your arms do the work. Of course, if you know how to do push-ups, you can go up to your feet. Keep that back flat. Remember, don't be up in the air like this. No teepees. Back flat. And you're going to go down and up. Down and up. If that's too easy, you can work on going down and holding it and coming back up. You can also get someone in your family, your sibling, a friend, to get in that push-up position as well in front of you, and you guys can tap hands. That's another great exercise to do. And then lastly, another good one to work on the legs is a frog hop. So you can get in this frog position. You can jump up, come down, jump up, come down. You can make it even harder by trying to point your toes when you're in the air. I would recommend doing all of these exercises, doing 10 of each and doing it 3 times. I think that's a good amount.
Yes. 3 rounds of 10 would be perfect. And that will help you on everything, your push-ups for the bars, for when you do your pullovers, also the sit-ups, your core when you do your pullover on bars, and then your legs. Obviously, a lot of leg work is in gymnastics. So we want to thank you guys for watching. We hope this helps. Hopefully we'll be back in the gym soon, but we just wanted to give you guys something to do while you're out of the gym. We'll leave you with our germ-free cheer. Typically we're put hands in and say gymnastics rocks or shooting stars, but we're gonna do germ-free, so we'll do 3 claps. So what do we want to do? Shooting stars. We'll do shooting stars rocks. So 1, 2, 3. Shooting stars rocks! Yay! All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.